time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to The Pet Show. Is your German Shepherd acting a little shy? Does your rescue tabby have you totally terrified? Do your doodles have you duped? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and really want to try to understand your dogs and cats' behavior almost as well as they understand yours, maybe you're confused about your dogs or cats' behavior, or just want to improve their lifestyle, you know what to do. Stay tuned, because once again, right here, right now, yes, it is time for The Pet Show, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks. It is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never, ever doubt about it. Love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the Evergrowing Pet Show family, and you should, if you want to find out why your dog may be jumping or digging or your cat is scratching, doesn't get along with the new cat, you take your dog for a walk and he sees another dog or a person and he goes crazy. You come home and maybe your cat peed on your bed. You get the idea. You've been listening to this show long enough. That's what we do here on The Pet Show. We take issues that people may be having with their dogs and cats and resolve them from both the human point of view and the pet's point of view as well. So if you have a question or comment, great time to give me a call. By the way, if you happen to be new to the show, regular to the show, it makes no difference. If you call into the show today, everyone that calls into the show and gets to talk to me live on the air will, in fact, get an incredibly fabulous gift, not for you, but for that beautiful dog or cat looking up as we talk. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Hugs and kisses back in stock. Lots of great stuff to give away on the show. Lucy Pet Food, kitty lickies, doggy lickies, lots of great stuff. So if you have a question or comment, just want to share a great story about a wonderful dog or cat that you live with or may have lived with in the past, great time to give me a call. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time to answer all your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Talking slow today. I want to get through the day. It's 108 degrees outside where I am right now. 108 degrees. It's nice and cool in my studio. But stop laughing. Will you please stop laughing, Alex? Every time I tell him how warm it is, he laughs at me. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So what I do now is I have to hose the backyard down before I let Molly and Willie outside. First I walk there myself barefoot. Then I hose it down. Then Molly and Willie go outside. And if it's cool enough, I'm not hanging out. If not, they'll come back at me, go right to the hose as if they want me to squirt it down a little bit more. Amazing. Living in Arizona is definitely different in the desert. 108 degrees, and that's the warmest day it's going to be this week. Whew. 866-870-KRLA. Let me tell you what is coming up on today's show. We got a busy show, plenty of time for your calls. I'm going to go through my topics with you, but by now you should be aware that if I don't get to all my topics, don't blame me. I'm answering your questions, answering your comments, but you can always get some of the stuff I don't get to on the air just by going to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein or thepetshow.com. All right, so here's what's coming up on today's show. Really interesting stuff. I worked hard on this week's show. When it comes to training your dogs, preventing them from practicing unwanted behavior by actually managing the environment plays a big part. Why is it easier to create good habits than it is breaking bad ones? Lots of times I get people calling me on the show. I have a year-old dog, a 5-year-old dog, a 10-year-old dog, and he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing this, he's doing that. When a dog comes into your home, if you take the time and really manage the environment, you can create good behavior, avoid having to take care of bad behavior. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on today's show. Also coming up, we talk an awful lot about dogs and what incredible personalities they have, but what about your cat? Cats have personalities too, guys. So today coming up, I'm going to share the 5 5 specific personalities that cats may have, and I'll share these with you. And some of these traits may be similar to yours, so don't get angry at your cat. He may be just mimicking you. Also coming up, living with a dog. And I've had many of these, and I'm sure some of you have had. Living with a dog that has the personality of the class clown. I can relate, believe me. I'm going to explain coming up. Find out if your dog has a class clown persona. I did. Is your dog, or your cat, I'll take both. Is your dog or cat one of those dogs or cats that's kind of like a class clown at the dog park when you walk them around? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA. And this was an interesting study I read this week, and not really a study, but it's really going on. It's kind of serious, and if anyone out there has done this, I want to hear from you. A growing number of pet guardians in the United States are now turning to Mexico to access more affordable veterinary care. Good idea? Bad idea? Some of the people swear by it. They were able to save thousands of dollars by crossing the border and going to Mexico for their veterinary treatment of their pets. So we'll take a look at that. Good idea, bad idea. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of good stuff to give away. Hugs and Kisses is back in stock. So if your pet is jumping, chewing, scratching, maybe that rescued cat is a little confused about the litter box. That dog you took in isn't housebroken. Maybe he doesn't get along with other dogs and some people, or he literally believes if he sees it, he's got to hump it. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So here's the question of the day. I gave a lot of thought to this one, guys. I've been inside a lot. It's 108 degrees outside. Do you really want the perfect dog or the perfect cat? Do you want the dog that does everything right? The cat that does everything right? Do you really want that perfect pet? Boring. We'll talk about that. That's the question of the day. I'd love to hear your comments as well. Do you really want that perfect dog? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. I'll talk a little about the 4th of July. What are you guys doing with your dogs on the 4th of July? I'm going to talk specifically later on some of my points for helping prevent some of the stress and anxiety during the 4th and the loud noises that are out there. But I know what I'm doing on the 4th of July. Anyone with me? I am going to spend the day in front of my big screen TV watching James Cagney in Yankee Doodle Dandy. I do it every year. I have it on tape. It's not going to go away this year. My favorite movie at all time. I laugh, I cry, but it makes me as patriotic as I've ever been. I'm going to check out Yankee Doodle Dandy this week with James Cagney on the 4th of July. Anyone else watching it, give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me get right to the phone lines, and we're going to start out with Lorraine calling from Temple City. Hi, Lorraine. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Oh, thank you, Warren, and thank you for taking my call. I have a simple question, but I'm not optimistic about there being an answer. I have 2 male
Sure,
cats
put the pressure on me, Lorraine. Go ahead, put the pressure on me. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, they're wonderful cats, 2 male cats, but they mark territory. I am not looking for a spray or something to abate the scent. What can you do about 2 cats that instinctively, as animals, are marking territory?
Now, you know it's both cats.
Yes. The other female cat just sits on the bed. These 2, we've seen them do it.
Okay. And what have you done to try to prevent it or stop it in the past?
Well, I tried to use, like, lemon things, but besides... Again, I go back to the first part of my question. I'm not looking to abate with sprays and stuff. I've done that. I've tried, but how many places am I supposed to go around my whole house?
Okay, number one,
and fell away and whatnot.
Okay, number 1, lemon spray is not going to work. Feel away is not going to get rid of the odor in the house. And as long as there are scents in the house, every time the cat walks by that scent from the past or recently, it's going to give them the urge and they're going to mark again, especially when you have 2 cats marking. So when you say you don't want to get rid of the odor, yes, you do want to get rid of the odor, but you got to get rid of the odor the right way. The first thing you need to do...
How can you do it when they do it all over the house?
Listen to me. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to a pet store or a lighting store and get yourself a black light. Take that black light when it's dark outside, use it in your house or apartment. Any urine marking stains in the house will now show up, so you know exactly where the cats have gone. Once you've figured out where they've gone, then the next step is to absolutely neutralize the odor. Not covering it up with lemon, you're just making it smell better for the cats. You need to get an enzymatic stain and odor remover made specifically for pets. Once you've cleaned up all of the areas that you've found, the next step I want you to do is start spending more time with the cats specifically in those areas. Put some of their treats in those areas. Put some of their toys in those areas. Now, you have 3 cats, I'm assuming. How many litter boxes?
Well, we have one large one that seems to work for them.
Obviously, it's not. No, it's not working for them because they're not using it consistently, right? So how many litter boxes do you have?
One.
Okay, that one litter box for 3 cats is not nearly enough. Try living in a house with 4 people and 1 bathroom, okay? You need 1 litter box per cat. 1 litter box per cat, at least for now. You may go back to 2 litter boxes down the road, but you need 1 litter box right now because what's happening, because they're all using the same litter box, their instinctive behaviors to go out and claim other territory within the environment. So that's what you need.
I hear you. Now that really stays with me. That makes sense.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's what I want you to do is take the black light, find out all the places. I'm assuming all the cats are healthy. Find out where they've gone, their toys, spend more time with them, clean it up with a specific stain and odor remover made for pets that has enzymes in it. Spend more time with them in that area and get a litter box for each cat. At this point, spread them around a little bit, and I believe that should resolve your problem. If not, call me back. This is not a tough problem. This is like cleaning teeth to a dentist for me, stopping cats from going in the house. But you got to be consistent.
Tell me the name of the spray again, or something.
It's not a spray. You can get sprays. I'm not going to recommend the specific one. If you go to any quality pet store, if you go to Amazon, if you go wherever you go, just ask for a pet stain and odor remover, an enzymatic pet stain and odor remover. You'll come with a lot of different names, and usually most of them work pretty much the same.
Okay. Well. That gives me a little bit of hope.
Let me give you
the cats, and I don't want to. All the cats we have gotten at the Humane Society, and we love them.
Bless you for loving them.
This is the biggest problem we've had, and I think you've helped me.
But we're gonna go a little further. But in terms of getting rid of the cat, let me ask you a question. If you had a problem, do you think your cats would get rid of you?
No, they would.
There you go. They try to help you. They'll try to help you. So I'm here. I'm here every Saturday. You can ask questions on my website. We will guide you through this. It's going to take time. You're going to love me one day, hate me one day. At the end, a bottle of champagne will be on the way. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you some kitty lickies from my friend over at Lucy Pets. You can place some of those kitty lickies in those areas. Just put a little drop, and that will prevent them from going as well. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, we have Cindy, Sean, Annie. We'll get to all your calls. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Hugs and kisses to give away. Copies of my best-selling books. Kitty lickies. Now have doggy lickies. T-shirts. I'll be giving away all natural flea spray. And as I said, the hugs and kisses are back in stocks. We'll be giving some of that away as well. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls. You know, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Our phone number 866-870-KRLA. 866-870-5752. I'm going to get to everyone's call today. I'll blow off some topics if I have to, but I want to share this with you because when I talked about this on my international radio show on Radio America last week, it was kind of an interesting topic. So here we go. Do you live with a dog that may be the class clown? A dog with the class clown personality wants to have fun. A class clown type enjoys playing, running, and spending time with people as well as other dogs. They are simply a happy-go-lucky, fun-to-be-around dog with a goofy personality. Although it's hard to fault the class clown, it can be challenging to rein in that type of personality. Sometimes they can be a little stubborn, a little lack of focus can cause training to be a headache. So patience and time will take a little bit more when you're training the class clown. That's what my teacher said about me. I love these dogs. I love the dogs that are just so full of energy and just so happy. And the problem is people try to calm them down versus taking that energy and that positive attitude and just focusing it in a different different direction. Rather than inhibiting it, focus it in a positive direction. It's not bad being the class clown, unless you're the parent of one like me. 866-870-5752. Cindy calling all the way from Wisconsin.
The owner said, that the dog had done that the previous week to somebody else that was over at the house. And they took the dog and removed it from the room. And the dog followed them back into the room, stood in the same place, and continued to look at me and growl. Finally, they had to go put it in a different room because I was a little uncomfortable because I didn't know what was really going on here because I felt I just didn't know, and it made me uncomfortable. So anyways, I'm invited back to their house in a couple weeks, and I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, so let me stop you for a second, Cindy. First of all, I want you to remember this, and please take this the right way. It is not your house; it's the dog's house. Okay, let's take it from that perspective. When a dog growls, it's not always a bad thing. The dog, for some reason, either looks at you or what other person to growl at, and the dog isn't comfortable. If this was an aggressive dog, if this was a really assertive dog, usually they're not going to start with a growl. They're going to become assertive and aggressive immediately. So when a dog growls, they're kind of letting you know that they're not comfortable. Now, every time someone comes into the house and the dog reacts, and your relatives put the dog away, the dog is going to become more and more assertive when people come in. These people come into my home, my territory, I get put away. So the resolution to the problem, number one, and if this wasn't a pit bull, you probably wouldn't even be calling me. Shame. Anyway, what I want you to do is I want you to let them know that they should introduce people coming into their home to the dog outside of their home, in the front of the house, down the block. Let the dog get to know them a little bit on neutral territory. They should have one of the dog's favorite toys when they first come into the house. This way they can hand it to the dog right away. What I'm looking to do here is establish a situation where when people come into the house, it's not that the dog's going to be possessive or fearful, but the dog's going to be excited because he knows this person. He met them outside. They gave him a hug. They gave him a kiss. They gave him a toy when they came inside. That's the resolution. Here's the behavioral problem. A lot of trainers and a lot of behaviors will say, the dog growled, get him a prong collar, jerk him around, tell him no, bad dog, bad dog, bad dog. That's going to create a bad dog. You don't have a problem dog right now. You have a dog with a little bit of an issue of being a little territorial. So good, positive training is important, making sure he's socialized around as many people as possible. Introduction outside the environment is really important as well. But the fact that they're putting the dog away is really creating more of a problem. It's kind of like if my parents put me away, which they tried to do when relatives came over, I would be more angry and more aggressive towards these people because now I'm being put away because of them. And dogs are astute enough to pick up on that. So that would be the better resolution. Building up the dog's confidence. And you have to remember this also, and this is so ludicrous, that if it was a Schnauzer, you'd be okay. If it was a Collie, you'd be okay. But because pit bulls have this ridiculous reputation, which is totally undeserved, people often react differently when a pit bull reacts in a certain way, causing the dog to react even more assertive at that point. So, good solid training for them. Meet people outside, that special toy, that treat outside, and this relationship with the dog should be absolutely fine. And let them resolve it now, because if they don't resolve it now, it's going to become a bigger problem, which is totally unnecessary and totally unfair for the dog. So let me do this. I'm going to put you on hold, Cindy, and the lovely Suzette is going to pick up, and I'm going to send you a copy of my best-selling book. It's been around for years now, How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. And I understand the fear and I understand the anxiety. Not everyone's like me and growled at enough times, so I don't take it that seriously. But a lot of people just assume a growl is aggressive behavior when it's more uncertain behavior than it is aggressive behavior. And that's where I kind of differ and I kind of become the rogue when I say, let's focus on building up the dog's confidence, building up the dog's self-esteem, socializing the dog a little bit more rather than focusing on bad dog, bad dog, bad dog, bad dog. It's like if you tell a human being or you tell a dog they're bad long enough, they actually start to believe that they're bad. That's not a good thing. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Hey, coming up, we're going to take a look at personalities. You know, we always talk about dog personalities. My dog's great personality, does this, he does that. He'd be doing stand-up if he was a comedian. What about cats? Someone told me this week cats don't have personalities. They're just there. Huh? Huh? Come on, feline lovers out there. Join on the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, and tell me exactly how great your cat's personality is, and a great gift will be on its way. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. The question of the day is, do you really want that perfectly behaved dog or cat? I don't. Everyone thinks, okay, it's Warren. He's trained dogs here, he trained dogs there, trained dogs for everybody. His dogs have to be amazingly well trained. Nonsense. Every once in a while, Molly will hump a leg. Or Willie will hump a leg. Can I stop it? Yeah, why? Why? They have such a short life. Let them be bad once in a while. We all have to be bad once in a while. No one's perfect. That's the question. Do you really want that perfectly behaved dog or cat? Give me a call. Let me know. We got a couple of open lines. I'm going to get to Sean, Annie, and Christine. 866-870-KRLA. 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. So I listen to the bow wows and meows. We are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That number, 866-870-KRLA. We get to all the phone calls, Sean, Annie, Anna, and Christine. Before I do that, though, I'm living in a new community now in Arizona. I talked about it before, and it's really, really hot here. So most people take their dogs to the dog park like at 5:15, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and let them run around. And I go for a walk at that time of day. I don't bring my dogs to a dog park. That's just me. But I go for a walk by myself, and I hang out at the dog park, watching the other dogs hang out and playing, enjoying it. And I was watching a trainer with a 12-week-old golden retriever. By the way, not the most difficult in the world to train. But he was at the dog park training the dog around all the other dogs. And I'm saying to myself, does this guy not understand what he's doing? When you start training, in order to make dog training effective, especially with puppies, you should begin by teaching commands in a quiet, calm area and progressively work your dog into different situations to ensure they will still respond when there's a lot of things going around them. But to start training your dog in the middle of Yankee Stadium is crazy. So starting to train a puppy, the socialization of the puppy is important, provided he was up to date on all his shots. The socialization is important. But the training, you always start out in a quiet, calm area so the dog isn't distracted and he's not being corrected all the time. Pay attention. No, if you start in a nice, quiet area, he's going to be more apt to be focused on you than the distractions around him. So start out in a small, quiet area, and as you progress, you can move to other areas and start adding distractions as well. That is the way to do it. I used to run classes. I was the head instructor for the YMCA for many years. And people would say, well, I want to bring my dog there and I want to have him trained. I said, no. First thing you do is let's make sure you start your training at home, a little bit at a time. And then once the dog has an idea of what's expected of him, then we can start bringing him and socializing him and exposing him to respond around other dogs as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. We are going to Sean in Encino. Then we have Annie, Huntington Beach, Christine in Palos Verdes, Anna in Burbank. But right now, it's Sean. It might not be a fun call. Hey, Sean, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much, Warren. This is the second time I've talked to you, and God bless you. You were helping me when my dear friend was middle-aged, and he was one of those crazy dogs that was everywhere. I am an academic, and I've been in academia my entire existence, pretty much. And my dog was my avatar. He was the dog version of me. He was kind, gentle, and so many other things I would say about him. But it would sound like I'm bragging, but he was a magnificent boy.
Sean, how old was he, and when did he pass away? What type of dog was he, and how old was he?
He was a 7/8 Papillon Maltese.
Yeah.
He passed away in my arms, looking at me and smiled at me as he passed at 1 a.m. on Friday.
Sean,
and he was 15.
Yeah. Well, Sean, first of all, obviously my condolences. I know exactly what you're going through, and I can hear, yeah, I can hear in your voice, and it's okay. You know, because right now there are tens of thousands of people that feel the same way about their dogs and their cats as you do. So if you're going to cry, cry with me. I got tears in my eyes as I'm talking to you right now. But let's explain something to you.
I've been stopping the whole time, and I'm not a person who cries a lot.
But that's okay. That's okay. The love a human being has with their dog is something that's just inexplicable. But I want you to understand this. Your love for this dog and this dog's love for you, as you said, when he said his final goodbye, when he took his last breath, he looked at you with his eyes. And what he was saying to you at that point is, listen, I'm not gone forever. My light, my love will always be around you. And I explain this to people. It's relatively new to you, Sean. But this dog, what was your dog's name?
When I got him as a puppy, he had broken arms and legs, and his name was Bosco.
Bosco, okay.
So to further him away from that, I took his personality, and under the laws of science, you name the creature by what it does and its physical attributes. So I named him accordingly. And he lived up to his name that I gave him in every way whatsoever.
Yeah, but listen,
he was trained in 5 languages. He was he was a therapy dog, and we would go to hospitals and people who hadn't touched anything other than dry. So Sean,
that being real important, let me ask you a question.
It's wonderful.
Did you give the dog the best life you possibly could?
I really worked as hard as I could too, yes.
Well, there you go. So in other words, sooner or later, when we have to say goodbye, when we have to say goodbye, and I've said goodbye to so many hundreds of dogs, it never gets easier. So crying is okay. I wish you have friends and relatives that are supportive of you at this point. But most importantly, I want you to just think about this. This is something I learned when I was in Europe. I worked with a lot of behaviorists, and I'll tell you one of the things that sticks in my head. Our dogs, our cats, never leave us. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. People whose dog or cat may have passed or crossed a rainbow bridge years ago, months ago, every once in a while when they're sleeping, they dream about that dog, or they can smell that dog, or they hear that dog barking or whining. So this dog has not left you. Maybe the body has left you, but the light, the love that you 2 shared is always going to be around you.
My morning started by looking into his eyes.
Yeah.
He was the first thing I would see in the morning with a smile and just said, "Come on, let's go." And he was the last thing I would see before I would go to sleep. At 1 a.m. after he left, even though he had cataracts that had taken the beautiful brown eyes away from him.
Yeah. But Sean, you had the dog for you had 15 years. You gave this dog, who had a really rough start in life, obviously. You gave him the life that was probably the most incredible life this dog probably would have ever had. The love, the bond that you shared with the dog, and I can tell from talking to you, was very rare. One of those special, we might live with 1,000 dogs, 1,000 cats, but there's one special dog or cat that has that relationship with us, and that's what it sounds like you had. So it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to cry, but what I want you to do, don't always think about the last couple of weeks or the goodbye or the passing.
No, the last couple of weeks he was fine until one day he just had a major stroke, and then he had seizures.
Well, then bless.
The short time he left.
Well, then thank God it wasn't a long illness. Thank God it happened relatively quickly. He's not gone. He may be physically gone, but he's not gone. The light of this dog will always be around you. But I want you to do this, and promise me you will. It's very difficult to say goodbye. And very often when we say goodbye, we think about what happened the last couple of days, the last hour. Think about the good times. Think about the times you looked at him and said, oh man, I can't believe you did that. Or the times he jumped in your groin and knocked you over. Or the times he made you laugh. Or the times he peed on something you was. Think about the fun times, the good times. That's what relationships are about. And more people need that. That's why there are people out there that do bereavement counseling. I used to do it. I just can't do it anymore. But if you need some help, there are people out there that can help you. But it sounds to me like you have a support system. Cry. Get it out of your system. But take some time. Just take some time to think about the good times, because I'm sure that's what he would want you to do at this point.
He was you're right. He was a once in a lifetime, and he was my
lucky.
first dog.
And
he was, many people have told me that this will be a once in a lifetime dog, and I didn't understand them at the time. And
listen, Sean, I got to move on, but I want you to do something. I want you to go to my website, thepetshow.com. Everything is free there. There's a special thing there under search. Look for the Ever After section. These are letters that have been written to me and poems that have been written over my 45 years from listeners just like yours that had to say that final goodbye. And it may be, it's going to make you cry, but it's going to make you get through this. I got to move on. My heart goes out there. I'm glad you have a strong people behind you to help you get through this. But just remember, physically is gone, but the light is always going to be there. And Sean, I don't even know what I want to, I guess the best thing I could do, Sean, is send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. And the reason I'm sending you a copy of the book is because I can feel the love in your heart. And I feel that the legacy that your dog just left you, but the legacy of the dog that left you is to maybe find another dog that needs the compassion, the love, and the big heart that you have. So we'll get that book out to you, and I really appreciate that phone call. 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then we'll get back to your phone call. It's always tough to do this, but thank God my listeners can respond to me, and thank God we have that relationship. It's back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That phone number 866-870-KRLA. I'm going to take a lot of phone calls. If I don't get to you by the top of the hour, just hang in there. We have a whole other hour to go after this. But let me see if I can get at least a few more calls in right now. Let's go to Huntington Beach and Annie. Then we'll go to Christine. Hey, Annie, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. So my cat is 15 years old as of January this year, and she's always had Friskies cans of cat food. She loves the gravy and stuff, but she's just not eating it, and I put that Hugs and Kisses treats in there and treats to make her be more, to give it some. She loves the treats, let's put it that way, but she doesn't want to eat the whole food, like the whole can of food like she used to do. And I come home and there's like hardly any of it eaten, and I have to throw it out because it gets all dry from the air, and I just don't know what to do. And then
there's a couple of things. Number one, what are her teeth and gums like? Are her teeth and gums? She's 15 years old. Are her teeth and gums in really good shape or not?
Her teeth are great. My other cat lost all her teeth last year over time, but this cat has all her teeth.
Okay, so at 15 years old, let me tell you what I believe is going on, and this is just the best I can do from this distance. When our cats get older, their sense of smell changes. And cats eat with their nose, not with their mouth. So it might be food that she's been eating for 12, 14 years, but if she's not smelling it the same way she did, she's going to be less apt to eat, as long as the teeth and the gums are in good shape, and that's the reason. So what can we do to encourage her to eat? A couple of things. Number one is we have to make the food stronger smelling. How do we do that? We can heat it up just for 10 seconds in the microwave. That will make it a stronger smell. As food heats up, the smell wafts a little bit stronger. The other thing that's really important as well, and I'm glad she likes the Hugs and Kisses, but I also want you to try the Kitty Lickies by Lucy Pet. And here's why. I've been talking about Kitty Lickies now for, I guess, almost a year. And I get more emails and more calls from people who say, well, my cat's finicky, or maybe a situation like yours where the cat is older and they're not smelling the food the same way, and therefore using the Kitty Lickies makes it's kind of like a mousse that you can put over their food, and just encourage them, just heat it up for a drop, and that's what I would be doing at this point. If you're telling me that everything else is good. The other thing is, if you have a veterinary trip scheduled, you might want to ask the vet about checking the nose. I had a recent situation situation where a cat stopped eating, the vet cleaned out the nose, and the cat was like back to normal with its eating as well. So smell is real important in terms of getting the cat to respond. So I'm going to send you some kitty lickies. Let's give that a shot. But I also, the next time you're at the vet, have him check the nose out just to make sure it's not clogged up. Does that help you out a bit there, Annie?
Yeah, and I have another question, though.
Sure.
I was thinking about getting a kitten, but I don't think that she would like another cat in the house because the first cat, she kind of always fought with the other cat. So what do you think about an older cat?
Could encourage her to eat, but if she's already stressed out and she's already off of her food a little bit, she's not eating probably the same amount of food she used to eat, I think there might be a little bit of a reaction. So I don't think I would jump to a kitten right now, and I don't know if I would jump to a kitten, maybe to a year-old cat when you're ready, but right now, let's make sure we get her eating first before we jump into that.
Okay. I'll take her to the vet.
There you go. Don't go anywhere. And thanks for being such a good mom, Annie. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and we're going to send you some kitty lickies for my friends over at Lucy. But I'm telling you, the kitty lickies, the doggy lickies, what a difference they make for those finicky felines. 866-870-CAROL. I got to take another break because I'm always running out of time. Christine will get you when we come back. Sean, Florian, don't go anywhere. We got a whole hour to go. I got great gifts for you guys. Be patient. Grab a cup of coffee. Give your dog a hug and a kiss. We'll get back to you. But right now, let me tell you, I am so excited to tell you that, yes, hugs and kisses. We are back on the Pet Show. Here's the deal. I got a break in 2 minutes for the top of the hour. Just a quick break. If I take your call now, Christine, I'm going to have to rush you, Fiona, Marina, so don't go anywhere. I want you to hang on. You'll be my first 3 calls when we come back. It's going to be a real short break for the top of the hour. But before we do that, I want to share this with you. And when we come back, I want to get everyone's response. A growing number of pet guardians in the United States are turning to Mexico to access more affordable veterinary care for their dogs and cats. Mexican veterinarians are definitely targeting U.S. pet owners to become their clients. They're making announcements in English. They're advertising more on the internet. Experts advise that U.S. pet owners to be aware of differing veterinary standards in other countries. MexaVet Express is a pet courier service that would take a dog to Tijuana, Mexico for veterinary care. It's part of a growing medical tourism industry across the southern border. What would you do? To save some money, a lot of money, would you take your dog to a veterinarian in Mexico just to save some money? I wouldn't. I like my good old American veterinarians. Well, they don't have to be American. My veterinarians practicing in here because they're so well regulated. But it's a big thing now. There are people that actually will drive your dog to a veterinarian in Tijuana. You'll save maybe $1,000, $500. Are the medications the same? Is everything the same? Is the licensing the same? Is the training the same? I don't know. I wouldn't do it. But what do you think about it? Should people take their dogs and cats to Mexico for veterinary care just to save a few dollars? Give me a call. Let me know. Again, the number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. We got plenty of time, a whole other hour to take all of your calls. I have hugs and kisses to give away. I got those T-shirts to give away. I got copies of my best-selling books, More Lucy Pet Food, Kitty Lickies, Doggy Lickies, all natural herbal flea spray. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away coming up as well. Again, the number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show.
Warren Eckstein, the man for your pets. We tried to stumble, but we haven't yet. Your dog is barking, your cat missed the box. Your ferret's chewed up all your favorite socks. You sure knows how to get inside your pet's head.
And if you love your dogs and cats and want to find out why they behave the way they do, why they're jumping or humping or digging or scratching, waking you up in the middle of the night, not using a litter box, not housebroken, schlepping you down the block, growling at the neighbor's dog, that's what we do here on The Pet Show. We help people resolve any issues that they may be having with their dog or cat or vice versa. Just a reminder that everyone that calls into The Pet Show and gets to talk to me live on the air today will get a fabulous gift for their dog or cat. Not giving away biscuits here. A lot of the gifts are worth $30, $40, even $50. So great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. If your dog is jumping, humping, digging. By the way, the question of the day is, do you really want that perfectly behaved dog or cat? Now, I was talking to someone the other day, and they're retired military. And they grew up with a certain breed of dog, and they were bragging to me how the dog would respond if I whistled this way, or I snapped my fingers that way, or I did this or I did that. And they were so emphatic about the concept of having total control and authority over their dog that it almost kind of set me back a little bit. And I said, 85% is good. When you want your dog to respond 100%, it's not going to work. I don't understand why people are looking for perfection in their pets when they can't even get perfection in themselves. Nothing living is perfect, just the way I feel. So that was part of the question today. Do you really want the perfectly behaved dog or cat, or are you like me? Everyone thinks my dog, Molly and Willie, should be like Rin Tin Tin and Lassie, but let me tell you, they're not. Every once in a while, I'll tell Molly to sit, and Molly will say, "Hey, Pop, you talking to me? What's with you?" That's what I like. That's what life is all about. Enjoy. Give your dogs and cats the opportunity to behave properly by educating them. But at the same time, it's so important to give them the opportunity to be themselves, to make a mistake once in a while. God, I make enough of them every day. Great time to give me a call. Lots of stuff to give away. Plenty of time for your calls. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let me get back to the phone lines here. Take you guys in order. Right now, we are going to Christine in Palos Verdes. Hey, Christine. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
How can I help you?
Your wisdom is wonderful.
Well, thank you. I don't agree, but thank you for that anyway. Go ahead.
I have a question regarding, I have an 8.5-year-old dog. She's a rescue dog, but I believe she's mostly Australian cattle dog.
Brilliant dog. Brilliant dog.
Oh,
brilliant.
Brilliant. Yes, she is brilliant, but she's also stubborn and willful, but that's just part of her innate personality, and I understand that. And high energy, she's fabulous. The question is, I'd like your opinion on feeding her. It's either just all kibble, dry food, or what I've heard fairly recently about some advantages, or are there, about homemade food and for our dogs. And I also would like to know your opinion regarding how about 50% homemade food and 50% kibble.
Okay, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm going to tell you how to feed your pets the way I feed mine, okay? Number one, okay. Unless you have a master's degree in animal nutrition, I would not be feeding my dog strictly a homemade diet. I would rather use a combination of things. And let me explain that. One of my sponsors here on the Pet Show is Lucy Pet Food. Why do I recommend Lucy Pet Food? Thousands of dog foods on the market. It's what goes into the food that's really important. For example, would you know maybe if it needed taurine, if it was a dog, it needed this? Do you know the difference between prebiotics and probiotics, how to put the exact formula together? The answer is no, neither do I. So here's what I recommend, okay? I feed my dogs Lucy Pet Food. But the lovely Denise will be known to cook something that we add to their food a little bit as a treat. Or I'll use something else. I'll use the hip to be square, or obviously hugs and kisses. So if you want, I would not be 50-50. I would stick with a dog food that's reputable, that you know where it's made, you know who the CEO is, you know what's in the product. It has both the prebiotic, probiotic formulas. So I would stick with that. But if you want to add a little bit of your own cooking to it, I have no problem, Mom. Moms want to do that. But just to go on a strict diet of home-cooked food, unless you really, really, really have that background in nutrition, you may not know exactly what they need. And one of the problems is with the advent of AI and the advent of the internet over the years. I mean, I went on there and I saw advice that was absolutely ludicrous, that if you fed that to your dog every day, you'd have rickets. So it's really important, and I'm glad you asked about nutrition. I'm only going to answer the question the way I answer. That's the food I feed my own pet. Yes, the lovely Denise will cook some food during the week, and my dogs freak out over peas and carrots. I don't, but my dogs love peas and carrots, okay? So sometimes you can add things to their food, but if you give them the basic food that has the right supplements, the right vitamins, the right minerals, it can make all the difference in the world. So that would be my recommendation at this point.
Question: what other kind of food would your lovely Denise prepare for the dogs that's good for them besides the peas and carrots? How about scrambled eggs?
She might do some scrambled, not a lot. She might do some scrambled eggs for them. Denise has an interesting way of doing things with the dogs. She can put stuff into the bowl. See, Denise is not always honest with my dogs. She's not. She might be putting a little tuna juice in their food, and she might be calling it filet mignon. She's not honest. I'm telling you, she's not honest. With me, she's not. When it comes to dogs, and she'll sing a song. Pasta. My dogs absolutely love. We call them what do we call them? Noodles, zoodles. Denise will say, "Hey guys, who wants zoodles? Zoodle." They're hearing me right now. They're going to go crazy. So in other words, encouraging them. It's like there are certain things my mother made me do to get me to eat certain foods when I was younger. So that's what I do. But I think a combination, if you want to feed a good solid food like Lucy Pet Food, which by the way I'll send you some, and then if you want to supplement that with something of your own, that's fine. Just make sure. I know this is gross, and I hope no one's having lunch right now, but I'm one of those people. When I go outside with Molly and Willie, I check their poop every single day, and if there's any changes in their poop, I'm going to change a little bit in their diet. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Oh, that's reasonable. Yeah.
There you go. So what I'm going to do, I'm trying to think what I want to do, Christine. I can send you the Lucy Pet Food, or I can send you, you know what? I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up. You're going to enjoy talking to her, as everyone does. And we're going to send you some Lucy Pet Food for your dog, okay? A great call, by the way. I just want to explain something about Australian cattle dogs. The only problem with owning an Australian cattle dog is, generally speaking, they're a little bit brighter than the people they live with. So don't let the dog get bored. Advanced training is important. A lot of socializing. Make your backyard interesting. Hang a tetherball. Maybe put up a utility course. Whatever you need to do, an agility course in your backyard. This is the type of dog that needs a job. And the more jobs you give him, the better he's going to be and the happier he's going to be. And bless you for being so concerned about what you're feeding him as well. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Coming up, we're going to take a look at 5 distinct personalities of cats. But right now, speaking about cat personalities, Fiona from beautiful Woodland Hills, California, wants to talk to me about her great cat. And she says her cat has a great personality. Well, we'll decide. Fiona, welcome to the Pet Show. Hi, Fiona. Hi, Fiona. How are you? Yeah, I can hear you. You're right next to me. So tell me about your incredible cat's personality.
Well, first of all, my name is Deanna, not Fiona. So
okay.
It's close. And my cat his name is Kaji, and he's a Maine Coon.
Big boy.
But I got him when he was about 5 weeks old. His mother deposited him under a tree and then took off. We think she never came back. Wow. So I bottle fed him, and he's been with me ever since. But there's just some interesting personality traits that I never taught him. We had a situation with rats a few years ago, and some of them got into the house, and he would catch them, and then he would hold them down. And there's a special meow that he has when he's calling for me. I never hear it any other time. So he's got a special meow just for me, and when he's holding this rat down, he's calling me, and he'll hold it down, and I am able to slip on this little rubber glove and pick up the rat and take it away. He doesn't make any messes, but he just catches them and holds them down.
Well, I want you to understand that when the cat is catching the rat, it's and he's calling you with that special word or that special meow that he has or that special calling that he has.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your significant other bringing you a diamond ring. From the cat.
Exactly.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah, exactly. And I accepted the gift, and then he got a treat. But the neat thing is that I never taught him how to do that. but he knew enough to basically catch them and just hold them down and wait for me to come and get them. And there's other things that he's done too, but he's just phenomenal in the attentiveness that I get from him. He's here right now. He hears his name, and he knows I'm talking about him.
When it comes to instinctive behavior, one of the things that baffles me is when behaviorists and trainers try to remove instinctive behavior. All animals have instinctive behavior. So even though his mother wasn't around to show him how to hunt rats, or his mother wasn't around to show him how to do this or show him how to do that, it's instinct. It's instinct. It's like breathing. So instinctive behavior, and I am always amazed, and I think I had more conversations over a couple of beers and shots when I was in Germany with behaviorists talking about the importance of understanding instinctive behavior. And what so many people try to do is they try to undo instinctive behavior, which can cause a lot of other issues. So yeah, that's it. It's him buying you a diamond ring. It's thank you. The only thing I would have done a little bit differently is I wouldn't have given him a treat at that point. I mean, I know if he wants to kill rats, that's what they do, but I would not necessarily reward him. You want to say a quick thank you, that's okay, but I would not give him a treat at that point.
Well, he got it the first few times because I wanted to encourage him to continue to do that.
You don't have to. You don't have. Once they do it, they do. You don't. He doesn't need any encouragement. Just a thank you from mom is encouragement enough.
His favorite treat is hugs and kisses for me, anyway.
Oh, then give it to him all the time. just joking with you. All joking aside, but you're absolutely right. There's such instinctive behaviors. I have learned more. Whether I went to school or whether I spent time when I was in Europe, I spent time literally with some amazing scholars and people that were working with dogs and cats and other animals their whole lives. And when we talk about instinctive behavior, that's probably the most important thing any trainer, any behaviorist, or any really good solid pet guardian needs to understand is the difference between taught behavior and instinctive behavior. And sometimes instinctive behavior... Go ahead.
One other neat thing that he does is he loves to be brushed. And every time I go in the bathroom, he hears me open that drawer where his brush is, and he comes running in and leaps on the counter and says, me too, and he preens, and he's, happy to get his brush every morning. So he just loves that.
Well, let me tell you, I would love to come back as your cat, except don't expect me to chase the rats. I keep them as pets.
You'd have a good life.
And let me tell you, rats, people don't understand rats. Rats are amazing animals. I had so many pet rats as a kid, and they were smart, and they were mellow, and they were just incredible animals. And if they had hair on their tails, we'd love them as much as we love squirrels, I promise. Anyway, listen, Deanna, I got to move on, but I'm going to put you on hold. And again, the lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and we're going to send you, for your cat, I am going to send, you know what? I am also going to send you some kitty lickies. Sorry, Joey, but a lot of kitty lickies going out to my listeners today. Great call, by the way. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, we got Marina. Marina in Hollywood. We have Stacy. We have Frank in Ventura. We'll get to all your calls right after this. Speaking about Lucy Pet Food, of all the questions, you heard one come up today, of all the questions I get, and we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We're going to get to all your calls. We're going to go to Marina first. Then we got Frank in Ventura. We got Stacy in Wilmington. We got Carmen also calling in Ventura. Great calls, by the way. Really interesting questions. I'm looking forward to getting to all your calls. And I guess no one's going to answer my question today if you really want that perfect dog or cat. Or let me throw this at you. You just heard me do the story about people trying to take their dogs and cats to Mexico for veterinary care. Would you do that? Would you cross the border to save a few dollars on veterinary care by going to Mexico? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to get your take on that as well. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Would you cross the border with your dog or your cat to save some money on veterinary costs? Personally, no. I want to get your take on it as well. 866-870-KRLA. Let me start out with Marina, then we're going to go to Frank. Hey, Marina, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hello, Warren. How are you?
I am doing perfect.
Okay, well, first of all, I would never go to Mexico with my cat or dog, and I would never go myself. So I don't know why I would take my cat there. But anyway, I have a beautiful, her name is Angel, Chinchilla Persian. She's 15 now. Now, she's always had, her brother died about 5 years ago. They always had intestinal problems, so we had to put them on raw food. They did wonderfully on the raw food. It had a mix in it with all the vitamins and everything. She gets medication for IBS, heart medication, but recently, like about 2 weeks ago, she turned up her nose at the food. I put, the lickies on it. She would get around the lickies and not eat the regular food. It would just be the lickies. Well, we changed the mix of the raw food, and all of a sudden she is eating. But what happened during the time when, because I was afraid she was going to lose weight, she would wake me up like around 12 o'clock, midnight, and it was obvious that she was hungry. So because I don't want to go down and make the raw food for her, I gave her lickies, and she would eat 2 lickies with gusto. And so that went on for a couple of days. Now she's on the new mix with the raw food. She is eating. She looks well. I gave her Miracle Vet. She only, when I was trying to find food, she would only eat the gravy or the broth. She has very few teeth and will not eat regular food other than the raw food. I've tried the Primal and the Stella and Chewy that are already mixed, but she doesn't. Primal went out of business, and Stella and Chewy she did not like. She liked it twice.
And so, but see, that's the problem.
Now,
People try too much. They jump from one to another to another to another, which is confusing. Anyway, I don't want to run out of time, but I know your question for me right now is that the cat's waking you up at night.
Because she's waking me up now. She woke me up at 12:30, and I mean, she was aggressive, jumping all over me. And I finally opened up a can that has the gravy or the.
Okay, listen to me, Marina. In other words, this is kind of a combination of a Marina problem and a cat problem at the same time. Number one is when the cat wakes you up. If you give the cat what she wants when she wakes you up, why should she stop waking you up? If I got a chocolate chip cookie or no, stop. Listen to me. I want you to do this. Make sure the room is perfectly dark at night. If you have to get special shades, pull the drapes, make sure the room is as dark as you possibly can make it. What I would do is before you go to sleep at night, whatever time that may be, that's when she gets her last meal. And maybe 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, whatever time before you go to sleep. If she wakes you up in the middle of the night, unless there's some physical reason that she has to be fed at that point, put some earplugs in and go back to sleep. Because every time you wake up and every time you give her something for waking you up, why should she stop? In other words, just once again, it tells us, I say this every week, but sometimes, I hate to admit it, but our dogs and cats are a little bit brighter than we are. So if she's waking you up and she's getting exactly what she wants by waking you up, why should she stop? Give her an extra meal before you go to sleep. Have a good night's sleep. Make sure it's perfectly dark in your room. She's 15 years old. Hopefully she'll be around for another 15 years. But let me explain something to you. Try not to bounce around to all the different foods. Try to find one and stick to it. That's going to make a big difference.
Well, now it is one. It is fine.
Okay, good.
The feeding is fine now.
Okay, so in other words, close your eyes, have a good night's sleep. You don't have to put on more makeup in the morning, I promise, but just don't let her wake you up and reinforce that when she does wake you up.
Okay.
Marina, now give me a call back and let me know. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, what am I going to send Marina? Marina, I'm going to send you some all-natural herbal flea spray on its way to you, and I appreciate that phone call. Let me do this. Let me take a break. Stacy, when we come back, let's see, who's up? Frank, when we come back, you're up next. Frank has an interesting question for me. Then we're going to go to Stacy in Wilmington. We have Carmen in Ventura. We'll get to all your calls. The phone number 866-870-KIRLY. Anyone else out there beside me going to be watching Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney on the 4th of July? Every year, that's what I got to do. I don't drink, but I have a beer, and I'll watch James Cagney on Yankee Doodle Dandy come the 4th of July. Quick break, 866-870-KIRLY. Quick break, then right back to your phone. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'll get right to you. I'm going to get right to my calls in a second, I promise. But I just got a text from someone who said, Warren, an off-leash dog ran up to me and my dog while we were on a walk. My dog started growling at this dog. Would it have been all right if I used mace on the strange dog? It would be all right if you used mace on the owner of the strange dog, not on the dog. What I would have done is maybe carry one of those air horns you hear me talk about. By the way, if you want to get one of those air horns, I think they're like $9, $10. They're on my website, thepetshow.com. Don't forget that I do not go out with my dogs. I'm coyote country unless I have an air horn with me. Air horn, much better, much less abusive than spraying. It's not a dog problem when they're off leash. It's the moronic owner that let the dog off leash. So no, spraying the dog with mace, not the way to go. Maybe spraying the owner, I don't mean that, but have a conversation with the owner or an air horn is definitely the way to do it. All right, let me get back to the busy phone lines here on the Pet Show, and we are going to first to Frank in Ventura. Hey, Frank, welcome to the Pet Show.
Well, thank you, Warren. Glad to talk with you again. I've got a 12-year-old golden retriever stirred with a yellow lab named Lucy. She wakes up in the morning and rolls around on her back like crazy, back and forth, snorting and carrying on. And I chalked it up to her just scratching her back or whatever. She also does this after each of her 3 meals during the day. Then I didn't think anything of it, but then I got this pop-up ad on my phone that supposed vet says that there might be something going on internally that's a problem. I was wondering if you'd heard anything about that.
How long has your dog been doing this, Frank?
Oh, years.
Okay. Let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff on the internet or whatever you're getting. Let me tell you why dogs, there's always a possibility that there's something wrong, but let me tell you the bottom line here. This is why dogs roll on their back. Dogs will roll on their back when they're excited and they're happy. They'll roll on their back when they feel totally comfortable in a situation and with the people they're with because they're exposing their belly. And when they expose their belly, that means they're totally safe with people. The other time a dog will often roll on their back, at the opposite end of it, if they're feeling insecure by rolling on their back and exposing their belly, it's a sign of submissive behavior. So very often when a more dominant dog approaches a less dominant dog, the less dominant dog will roll on its back, exposing the belly, saying, you know what? If you're going to do it, do it. So from your explanation to me that he does it when he's eating or he does it when he first wakes up, and he's been doing it for years and years and years and years and years, next time you go to the vet, you can run it by him. But I guarantee you, it sounds to me like you have nothing but a happy dog that's bragging about what an adorable belly he has.
She is gorgeous. We get a lot of compliments.
It is. And does he like having...
Have you heard anything about that pop-up ad with this guy saying there might be something internally wrong?
If your dog sneezes, it could be something internally wrong. If your dog does this, it could be internally wrong. If your dog burps, it could be... I don't know. But in other words, I have never heard of a dog that's happy and rolling... And the dog's rolling on his back and he's whimpering and he's in pain. And that's a whole other ballgame. But he's been doing this for years. Rolling on his back when he eats, after he eats. Rolling on his back when he gets up because he's excited. He's a happy... Listen, I roll on my back sometimes. He's a happy-go-lucky dog, Frank. Enjoy him. If you want to ask your personal vet, I'm sure he's going to give you the same opinion I gave you, unless you notice an entirely different behavior where the dog isn't comfortable on his back. That would be a whole different ballgame. What's your dog's name, by the way, Frank?
It's Lucy.
That's right, Lucy. How can I forget that? And Lucy...
I want to thank you for the last time I talked to you. I got a gift box from you weighed about 15 to 20 pounds, I swear. It was loaded with Lucy products, and I was just blown away. You guys are very generous.
No, it's the loot. Listen, let me stop you. It's not me. It's not costing me a penny to send it. It's costing Joey, Eric, and Lucy. But that's how incredible these people are. I mean, they are just so happy to let people know and expose people to their product because it's so different and so amazing. So yeah, this is what they do, and that's why I talk about them the way I talk about them. And as I said last night, I was at a very rare party for Warren, especially on a Friday, but very, very rare. And these are people I've just kind of met with in the last few months, and I switched them over, and I recommended Lucy Pet Food, and one was a pet sitter, and the results have been absolutely amazing. So I'm glad to hear that, Frank. You give that dog a big hug and a kiss, and go kiss that belly button, okay?
Oh, often. Thank you.
You have a great day, and I appreciate that phone call. Yeah, the internet can be pretty freaky. You know, you don't feed your dog this, don't do this, don't do that. If we didn't do everything or everything that they tell us not to do on the internet, my dogs never would have lived. I mean, God knows when I was a kid growing up, my father fed our dogs. You know, here's an ear of corn, here's this, here's that. We know better now, and it's important that we treat our pets a whole lot better and make them a lot more comfortable now. But again, it's interesting. A pop-up ad saying, if your dog rolls on its back and shows his belly, unless the dog is exposing pain, unless it's something brand new the dog's never done before, it's a sign of total happiness, total confidence, or in some rare cases, a sign of submissive behavior. Kiss that belly, Frank. Great call, by the way. Hey, the phone number, 866-870-KRLA. Let me take a quick break before Alex says something to me. I like to stay ahead of him. We come back, Stacy, we're going to get to you. We're going to get to Carmen in Ventura. Great call, by the way. And we're going to try to get to Patricia in Reseda as well. I do have a couple of open lines, 866-870-KRLA. Before we break, though, you know, do cats have personality? Something I wrote this week. Do cats have personality? You bet they do. In fact, a cat's personality can be classified into one of 5 different classes, not unsimilar to those for human beings. You could have a skittish cat, an outgoing cat, a cat that's dominant, a cat that has spontaneity, or a cat that's friendly. Those are the 5 basic things they classify. Skittishness, outgoing, dominance, spontaneity, and friendliness. Does your cat have one of those personalities? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then right back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You sure are listening to The Pet Show. We are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA. Remember, if you're listening and for some reason I run out of time, as soon as I get off the air here, I do my international show for Radio America. I'll give you that phone number a little bit later. Same type of show. I give away the same prizes, similar topics. Also, if you're not following my YouTube channel, we are expanding tremendously on YouTube. So I share a lot of information there. Subscribe. It's free. Go to youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. You'll enjoy some of the videos, current videos I do every day. Some are a minute, some are longer. You can see videos when I did the Mickey Mouse. It goes a lot of different videos. Check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe when you're there. I think you'll have a good time. I'm going to take you guys in order. First, we are going to Stacy in Wilmington. Hi, Stacy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself, Stacy?
Good, thank you. My question is, my neighbors have a number of animals, and they don't care for any of them, and I feel helpless. Like, I don't know what to do. Animal control.
Well, tell me about no care. In other words, do they have shelter?
Well, that's the only time they came out, when it was pouring rain, and I said, this dog has a wet sweater on, and he has no shelter. That dog has subsequently died. Not because of that, I don't know, maybe. But anyways, and they just get pets. If they die, they get another pet. They have like 1, 2, 3, 4 dogs right now.
Okay, but in other words, is there shelter? Is there shelter for the dogs now?
Well, there's a cage.
But I mean, is there a shelter where they can stay out?
Actually, I think that, no, wait. I think after that, I made that phone call, I think they did put a doghouse out there.
Okay,
yeah.
as long as the dogs...
There is a doghouse out there.
One of the most frustrating parts when I was a peace officer in New York investigating animal abuse was the laws were so antiquated. As long as there was a shelter where they can get out of the weather, that was considered okay. As long as they had water and food, that was considered okay. Forget about the psychological, emotional needs that dogs and other animals need as well.
Yeah, it's hard to hear you, but yes, that's all they said, well, you know, they leave them in this. It's a very high fence, and he's fenced in. And he can't see anything outside, and that's it. That's all he has.
Yeah, it breaks my heart, and I'm sure it breaks your heart the same way. What I would do is I would become the pest. I would call them every couple of days at animal control. I would make a report with the police department as well. If you have neighbors that will sign something suggesting what you're suggesting to me, that they're abusing the dogs in terms of not giving them a shelter, not having enough food, maybe not enough water. But it's interesting because nowhere in the laws does it talk about the behavior, the ability of the dogs to have emotional needs fulfilled. It talks about subsistence, and that's it. Food, water, and used to drive me crazy. Those are the ag markets laws. But if you have some neighbors that are willing to get on with you and sign, and if you notice that the weather's really hot and there's no water or they have nowhere to go, take some videos of that, then you might be able to go a little bit further. But make sure, there's an old saying, the squeaky wheel gets oiled. Sometimes it does, but I would make sure that I was on with animal control every single day. Specifically, if you can get other people in the neighborhood to say exactly what you just told me, it might be more apt for them to make that decision, because they might be, what's legal doesn't mean that it's good for the dogs or the cats. I got to tell you, some of the situations that I've been involved with that were legal, I did some illegal things because they were legal and I just couldn't deal with it. So past the time that they can get me. But anyway, what I'm saying is you need more people to get involved with you. If you can do that, then we can make a change. And as you said, some people, they just get a dog, the dog dies, they get another dog. The dog dies, they get another dog. I wish animal control had the ability, or the adoption people have the ability, and a lot of great adoptions, purebred adoptions and regular adoptions, they actually go out there and they take a look at the location, where the dogs are, how they're kept, where the veterinarian is, and before they adopt the dog. So I don't know where they're adopting the dogs from, but if they're adopting the dogs without someone coming, like my good friends over at German Shepherd Rescue, West Side, Orange County, if you want a dog from them, they're going to come to your house. They're going to check out your facility. They're going to check out and make sure everything is positive for the dog and the dog can have a good life. So I don't know where they're getting their dogs from. If you could find that out, then maybe that's the action that needs to be taken.
Right.
God,
yeah.
Thank you for. I'm
glad I called because it gets my mind thinking like, oh, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. I know the one neighbor. Them, you know what I mean? So
no. I appreciate the call. I appreciate your heart. I appreciate the fact that you see something that's not right and you're willing. A lot of people just look the other way. You can't just look the other way. The animals don't look the other way. So if you can get some other people to help you out, that would be great. If you can get a video, that would be great. If you can get some pictures or videos with inclement weather, if they're not able to go into the doghouse, if there's not enough water there, if they look thin or something, that can make a difference for you. Great call, but keep in touch with me. I want you to call me back. Let me know what's going on. In the meantime, I'm going to put you on hold, and Suzette's going to pick up. Suzette, let's send Stacy a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright." Obviously, all of her friends, none of her friends do walk upright. It's such an explosive thing when you see someone abusing an animal, and authorities say they have no ability to make any changes. Yeah, changes can be made. Sometimes you got a little bit tough. Sometimes you got to make tough decisions. But you got to take a look in the animal's eyes when you do that. Breaks my heart to hear that story. Just breaks my heart. A quick break, then right back to your call. It's 866-870-KRLA. By the way, when we come back, Carmen, if I don't get to your call, or Patricia, if I don't get to your call, I'll give you the phone number for the network show as soon as we come back. 866-870-KRLA. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Here's the deal. Carmen, I could take your call now, but I'd have to really, really rush you, and I don't want to rush you. You got a great question about feeding your dog. So write this number down. You will be my first call on my national show, which starts 4 minutes after 1, as soon as we get off the air here. So write this number down. That goes for everyone out there. When I get off the air here, you know by now, I do my national Canadian radio show. It goes all over the country in Canada for Radio America. It's on American Forces or Armed Forces Radio as well. Write this number down. It's the same type of show. I give away the same type of gifts, and you can start calling at 1 o'clock. But remember, that number goes directly to Washington, D.C., to Radio America. So be patient. But when you go there, Let it ring. They eventually will pick up. Give them your name, the question you have, and when I get you on the phone, I will send you the same gift. And that number is 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. Let it ring. It takes a while, but don't start calling till 1 o'clock. In the last minute we have, let me just remind everyone, I know it's frustrating. I can't possibly get to all the calls that come in, but I do answer a lot of questions now. You can go to my website, thepetshow.com, ask Warren. I try to answer a few questions at least 3-4 times a week there. Or if you prefer, there's a lot of great videos and information I've already shared. Just go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. We are out of time. Until next week, you all know what to do by now. Give all of your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one right between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you once again for listening to The Pet Show.